Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of We Shot First, Season 2.
Dun, 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 dun.
We're back. You don't even know how new microphones will be back onto the hot mics once more. Not that those mics were bad. Actually, our quality was decent at the end of Season 1.
Well, we had to get our crap together at some point, Jeff.
When last we left our heroes, you were on the planet of... Does anyone remember?
Aquarius.
That is true. Deep, deep, deep down in one of the main ocean planets under a huge shell underwater city.
Aquarius.
And I don't mean like shell as a natural conch. I mean like a big dome artificially made, encompassing in a giant city. Almost looks like Atlantis down here. You guys took the elevator and the submersible down, got in there, and immediately split up like people the first time they ever gone to like a big mall or something. You all ran off in two by two. Everybody have your buddy. And
I want to go to Bed Bath & Beyond. I want to go to
Poser
IKEA.
started stalking someone.
Hey, bathing goods, and soaps and things in the body shop. Major export here in Aquarius. You did notice a light, but still present, Imperial Force stormtroopers on the landing platform up above. And you do see a couple walking the streets here, but is in no means hugely occupied yet. Going around the room, I believe Dr. Leth had taken old man Zin shopping. We had Poser Sham getting the willies now that he's open to the Force, sensing things, sensing people following him, sensing drawn to things, wandering up alleys. But we'll get back to that. Because the most important thing about this entire trip was the used starship ad that Rahal Oberus and Merrick had decided to drag everybody out here for. And we go now to the used starship lot, where only a few ships actually rest. And you had introduced yourselves to the proprietor, who is of one of the Aquarian races that reside here. Same race as a famous Star Wars iconic figure, Admiral Akbar. So, you come for a ship?
Indeed I do. I happened to be surfing the HoloNet the other day, and I saw this ad you had. Rock bottom prices for top-notch ships. What do you have to offer?
Oh, you're not thinking of the Viper series, because they're all gone. Sold them last week.
No, I'm looking for something more along the lines of a freighter.
Freighter? Well, we,
Looks down and starts going through his data pad, his computer, flipping through stuff that's been registered.
got a couple of YT-1300s, but everybody has those. I mean, like, everybody. I don't know why everybody's got a YT-30. I mean, it's a reliable ship, don't get me wrong, but...
Lots of parts.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's some reason every five guys in a freighter that, plays this game, gotta have YT-1300, I got a YT-30. Now, I'm a 720 man myself, the Guthrock is much more reliable in my opinion. And I actually have one here that just actually came in. I mean, the boys haven't gone over it. We haven't, it's past its registration and certification, but we haven't. No, it's got a decent hyperdrive, but we haven't gone through the technical aspect. We haven't flushed all data out of the nav computer, and we haven't done any detailing on it. But
Does it fly?
Yeah, of course it flew in here.
And is the price right?
Well, let's go have a look.
Anyway, pulls up, this sort of price guide, comparing it to auction.
This is lots of aftermarket parts. One of the cargo bays have been converted to some sort of what is it? Well, I'm sure it's fine.
Anyway, suddenly his comm goes off,
Hey, quick question for you, Jeff.
Yep.
Is this like a junkyard or is this like a
Yes.
used car sale lot?
It's a used car sale lot.
Okay, so there's not like crap laying about everywhere.
No,
It's clear. It's pretty
No.
clean.
no. Well, it looks run down, like the type of yard that has like the trailer and the 8 cars on the side of a small town.
And the super happy fun,
Yeah,
Hot 5. They finally expanded their marketing to get 5 of those.
yeah,
There,
exactly.
there's swims.
You noticed on the way in, he had 3 starfighters, 2 freighters, and a what do you call it? The
Shuttle? Cruiser?
Snapper.
a shuttle. Thank you. Now I understand you guys were a little bit in a hurry. The captain of the Resurgence, flying the Nebula B frigate, warns you guys that as much as he looks like Nathan Fillion, he can't come in guns blazing to save your butts, and it was taking a risk sort of reaching out on the holonet. They've moved the ship, and he will wire you coordinates where they've moved it. They're kind of floating around
Off the hyperspace routes?
off the hyperspace lanes. Captain Verena is very very wary of having you guys just sort of like run off and make day trips and possibly be tracked back. You don't know why. He hasn't spoken, but he's saying like we're constantly under surveillance. You know what I mean? He's kind of knows something is up. Now, Captain O'Keefe, who was your ride up until now, is actually a little busy this week. And with our, new acquisition of our new turncoat admiral going on about the Sarlacc project. You guys remember that? But getting back to ship sales.
Right.
His comlink goes off. And a crackling voice comes through, and there's that tiny little blue, just the head and shoulders
Oh, yeah.
projector that he's got like next to his ashtray. Dude smokes reef. Terrible habit. Big pipe smoke, especially when he freaking comes out of his gills instead of his lungs,
That's awesome.
Gill cancer. Killed my cousin. Terrible habit. Anyway, up pops this little fish-looking dude. Uncle, what is this, small fry? I'm busy in here. Don't you pay customers? And he just snaps at the little dude, and he just kind of like puffs out. Spikes everywhere. I was telling you that, there's a problem with the ship. And he looks a little nervous because he knows what ship the nephew was working on. And he leans in and he says, well, whatever it is, fix it. And then, just close the panel and go on to the next. No, we'll see about it later. How soon do you need it by?
Yesterday, my friend. Yesterday.
Oh, you're in a hurry. Well, but I suppose we could forego. You got a mechanic, or you boys know what you're doing, fixing this up. I said the engine's run and she flies great, and
Well, let's just say if you're willing to give us a bit of a discount for the lack of service, we've got the guys that can take care of things.
Yeah, but you ever play shell game? You can walk up to the table and somebody knows you want it bad, kind of levels out the price. But let's go he should have finished by now. But I mean, let's go have a look.
so he gets up and kind of waves you guys towards the door. Two of you guys go out down the little ramp, and you head down the line. And like I said, there's a couple of battle scarred, scorched up fighters.
Hey, Raul.
What?
How much of discount do you want?
All of it, my friend. But we do what we can.
Very good. When we get them on ship, I shove them in container.
Okay, hold on a second. There's still Imperials around, man. We were told to keep a low profile. So if we can keep it civil, let's keep it civil. Just follow my lead.
I take him out of container after he give good discount.
I'm standing right here, I might be older, but I'm not deaf.
I thought I was using my inside voice.
Forgive my overly large friend here. Sometimes he gets a bit overzealous. And like I said, we are in a bit of a hurry.
Yeah, not too much of a hurry. He says, you'll see, he points way over at a freighter. He says, the first thing you got to know is the boot clamp we got on there. And only I have the codes.
This is good to know.
If I'm not the first salesman that disappeared on a ship, And don't come out and you guys say, oh, everything's fine. You'll have to deal with...
Having to mechanically disconnect the boot clamp from the egg fold. Yes, of course.
Anyway, he doesn't say the name of who you have to deal with, but he waves a fin a couple ships over, and you just see a very, 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 very large shell creature, the size of a star fighter, has like the hood up, and he's rummaging around in the wires, and looks like... Who's like the boss turtle from frickin' Mario?
Bowser.
Yeah, it looks like a giant frickin' Bowser shell, the big spikes on it, just 3 times the size of frickin' Merrick.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
He's also on the forklift.
I can see why.
So no trouble out of you two. Air breathers.
Don't worry. Our credits is good.
Uh-huh.
Like I said, my large friend here sometimes gets a bit overzealous.
Looks at you guys and starts kind of like noticing all the weapons on Merrick for the first time. The guy's like covered in guns.
All right. Well, since you're in such a hurry, it's just, I don't think I'm going to come down that much in the price, he says, looking at Merrick.
So he takes you to the end of the line, and lo and behold, you guys, galactic lore, anyone?
I got some of that.
I can't tactics my way through this one, can I?
Sure.
Yeah, you could.
Damn,
Sure you could.
nice. Then I'd do so.
Oh, but my galactic lore is a little rusty on the Jatroc Industries
It's
class. I got a 6.
Okay.
It's okay. I have
Tactics of 12.
Okay.
Oh, no, total of 20.
All right. I'll lean in on you whenever the part of my sentences become relevant to a tactical, bit, and you can take over the line.
I wait for your senses to tinkle then.
Heading down the line, before you, you see a large, flat freighter with 2... I want to call them wings. They look like giant mercenary Warhammer shoulder pads sticking out the front. A standard cockpit of a YT series, which is your sort of cone with all the windows around it. A singular disc window frame in the center of its back, and 2 tube-like engines out the back. But the interesting thing is, the tube-like engines aren't what's mounted at sort of 45-degree angles off the back of the stern. The engines themselves are sort of recessed into the back of the flat part of the ship itself. And you see 2 exhaust ports underneath what looks like giant shoulder pads. And the whole thing vaguely resembles what would look like flippers and sort of like a giant sea turtle. The name on the side of the ship, barely legible. He hands you a data pad.
And I immediately hand it over to Merrick.
And at the top, shows you the registry number, some basic statistics on, what this thing's been through and some of the modifications. And it's registered as the Archelon.
So I just passed the data pad over to Merrick. This is all... I don't know, what's a really obscure dialect?
Gibberish? Bantha? What's a little Banshee? Jawa.
Huttese?
It all looks Jawa to me.
Sandpeople.
This is all Jawa to me. Merrick, take a look. She good?
Hey. I take a look at it with my mechanics check of 26.
So he's looking over the particulars of the engine, cargo space. The little sheet they stick in the used car window? It gives you the specs.
Feature sheet.
Yep. Gives you the specs, so he's looking that over. So while he's got his face down data pad, the salesman is sort of looking at you like you should be impressed.
And chip you.
What are you talking about? This hunk of junk? You can't be serious.
Junk.
Can it even
Junk.
fly?
This is a Class 720 freighter. For the Cathu Industries. This light freighter was manufactured by Cathu Industries.
Hey, well,
Okay, I understand you air breathers prefer and it is less and less popular than the YT series, but this was developed a huge following in the Outer Rim territories where Gathok Industries is located. Thousands of freighters remain in use even after the manufacturer went out of business.
Whoa, wait, went out of business? So you're telling me it's going to be a pain in the butt to get parts for this thing?
Not at all. There's no date on my wiki. It could still be in business. The DM's, we're just getting back into this campaign.
Merrick,
Yeah.
the Gathok is 35 meters long, can carry 135 metric tons of cargo, and each of its two 55 cubic meter main holds will accommodate this number. In stock configuration, okay, it would normally have a fixed double laser cannon, which is mounted slightly above the raised cockpit,
Yeah.
and a pair of docking tubes that are located in the ship's rear where you'd normally have escape pods. Those are actually like docking tubes where you could park it in and stick in a tow.
Let's get all on the same page here.
Literally.
So between me and Merrick, we should be able to,
Have some fun.
Sublight engines, standard behind between docking tubes. Despite its displacement, this baby will give you a 750 kilometer an hour atmospheric speed.
and he's looking over at Merrick for like confirmation.
This you can do.
Only takes crew of 1. 2 is, preferable, but you can skeleton it with 1 to up 10 passengers.
Automation team seems to be optimized for this vessel.
Now, you notice down the bottom of the appendage there, you'll see some couple of notes that we've put in for some modifications. The original owner has swapped things out. Nothing too fancy. Nothing to stand out.
You still have the escape pods mandatory?
He takes the pad off of you. This is
2 escape.
At least one's in operation.
Second escape pod is missing?
Yes, both are there. You pay for both.
2 escape pods.
2 escape pods, yeah.
Cargo capacity of 130 metric tons.
That's what I said. Well, 35.
Double laser cannons. No armor.
Rumor has it that this ship, has a little history. I mean, when you talk about the Accuser, he looks at you guys like you're supposed to know the name. The personal starship of, the Tishar bounty hunter.
I look
Kalpan
over
Shi?
to Raul. Raul?
No? Fine.
We've been out of the loop for a while. Got us a break.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. She ain't going anywhere without any codes. You boys give her a quick look over, and I'll have, I'll talk to my man here about how fast we can get her flight ready and out of those boots for you.
She is not freight ready now.
More or less, by the end of the day.
Perhaps we can assist you.
He kind of looks at you suspiciously. You take a walk on deck, have a look around. I'm just going to talk to my man. Remember I said, no shenanigans.
Very good. I will not shove you into...
Well, he's confident that you can't even start her up without something he's got, codes or whatever.
I will not put you in the closet.
Mm-hmm.
We'll tour on and take a look around.
So walking on there, the ramp accommodates my size easily?
Well, you technically
like a
take up a
man-sized
5 foot square like any person, but you count as a large creature as far as carrying and whatnot. So you really fill that 5 foot square, but yeah, it's like the standard 5 foot ramp. It will take you.
If I were reading and not paying attention to my headspace, would my head be threatened by anything overhead?
I'm guessing the clearance is similar to a Y1300, so it's the same kind of thing as like Han getting on a ship. There's a bit of a duck at the end, but
It's a bigger it's a bigger ship.
so are you guys seeing this here?
So
Slightly.
no doubt.
Walking straight
Yeah.
underneath the cockpit, which is dead center, not to the side like a Y1300, okay? You can see that the cockpit itself, if you look inside, is like it's the 4-seater, very similar to the cannon, okay? Walking straight under that, right under the throat, right at the top of the collarbone of this turtle, the Archelon, okay, is the ramp. Pop straight down. You guys walk up it. At the very top of the ramp is sort of an open area where there's passenger seating for 5, and you can go left or right, or even kind of go up and around the edge of the the docking plate and head towards the cockpit, which is raised, and you get through a ladder and head off into different compartments of the ship. So going sort of looking straight down from a top view, left to right. Okay. Cockpit dead center, no problem. Okay. Those shoulder pads or fins, as you can kind of like, little turtle flappy fins, are actually engine rooms. And there are two. There's a port and starboard engine room, and they actually have a full operation room with its own engine, its own systems, and its own, here we go.
The first thing I do is pop into the cockpit and check the nav computer for how current it is. So I'll throw out a use computer of 19.
Okay. It will let you sort of, let's say, auxiliary power. You get the radio and you get some systems running, but the main power you're locked out of. So you can't fire the engines.
I'm not trying to fire the engines.
No,
I
just saying, like, on your car, you have how you just like, I'm not turning my car on, but there's that halfway. You get the radio and everything going, roll down windows and stuff. This is what you can get access to. Okay. It does a quick system check. It says the nav computer is online and functional.
And like I said, I'll check the version information, reference it with my data pad to make sure it's relatively current. And
the last jump was weeks ago.
Okay.
And it was a big one.
Okay.
This thing, according to the nav computer, stayed in hyperspace for a very, very long time.
Okay.
Like literally whatever a hyperspace fuel tank can take did maximum jump. Had to be.
Okay.
The only other thing you can think of is that they had fuel on board and they, dangerously tried to juice,
siphoned it into the tank while they were mid.
Or maybe there's some way to actually, like maybe this thing, one of the modifications that he spoke of is a bigger tank.
Okay.
It actually can hold like bigger fuel. Very dangerous because it makes a bigger boom and it might take up space.
But it can cover the distance.
True.
Like less pit stops is more distance.
Mm-hmm.
Which, as someone from a smuggler's background,
If you can jump further.
Yeah, I'll take note of that.
Okay.
And pass the information on to Merrick.
Yep, that's going up the price.
Yeah. Well, I'll look at Merrick and say, hey, buddy, take a look around and see if there's any aftermarket modifications that have been done to this.
I was going to check the motor room. Check the engine.
Yeah. Go right ahead. I'm going to take a look at the crew quarters, the cargo space, see what we're dealing with here. As far as space, it's going to more than meet our needs for who we're going to be rolling around with.
I imagine so. I imagine this conversation is that Raoul's actually in the cockpit, but
You're on your comms, yeah?
no, I imagine my head's just stuck up from the top of the ladder, so you just see like my balding head popping up through the ladder.
That's fine. Yep. It's only about 15-20 minutes before a buddy pops in and asks you, what you like, what you want to do. Okay. A couple of things, like you don't have your entire crew to go over every inch of this. You guys wanted this like in a hurry.
Yep.
Okay.
We'll look as best we can.
Okay. The engines, sublight, and hyperdrive seem intact. It does seem to have an extended hyperdrive fuel source. So you can do like a jump that would be 125% of a regular, that kind of thing. Okay.
Yeah.
The fuel source seems to be in bay 13, and it's attached right on the wall here and goes directly into this engine here.
Okay.
And then also in 11. So there's like a tank for each. Okay.
All right.
For the actual...
So we sack a bit of cargo space for some extended hyperspace.
A bit.
Yeah.
Now, one, you assuming maybe it's a regulator. You're not sure what it is. It's another holding tank, and it draws out of that same tank, but you're not sure what its purpose is.
Okay.
It's a big cylinder in one of them. 2 escape pods, one's missing.
Oh.
That will bring price down.
Now, the actual...
because it's an actual shuttle, not just an escape pad.
Yeah, it's like you can put like 10 guys in here and cockpit up.
Away mission.
Yeah, like this.
We can do away mission.
This tube shuttle, as it were, okay, is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's like 8 squares long. This thing is bigger than what they used to run around in what was that show? In Dark Matter.
Oh, okay.
Right? It's even bigger than that.
Yeah, their little pod thing. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. But there's only one. The other one, they've kept like the tube assembly, okay, and they've used it for some kind of like a holding space, which Rahal you would guess is easily ejectable.
Like a
Oh, okay.
So
yeah.
this could be like, oh, geez, we only have one pod. We haven't bought the other one yet, but there's like a cargo bin in here that somebody could flush real easy.
it's like a portable jail or something.
Possibly,
No,
or
no,
you
a
know,
jettisonable cargo container. It's
volatile?
like, oh crap, there's a Imperial barricade that we're gonna have to go through and get searched, but we've got this horribly bad contraband. Let's stick it in here and jettison it. Maybe we can come back.
as opposed to popping up two of the very large cargo bay doors, which are in the bottom, and these things are like 3 squares wide and 4 squares long. It's like a good 15 by 20 foot drop pad that can come out of either side of the bottom, and you guys drive stuff onto it, and then these pop back up into the floor, and it's, you know, cargo from there come off, and the bottom of the cargo bays are almost the same size.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. And you see just lots of signs of
that's
use.
what I was going to say. Like,
There-
what is the condition? Like,
there's-
does it look pristine?
Now they're
Or-
also running tubes and stuff through the walls and like outside to the back engines out of those tanks and everything. You know what I mean? Like, it looks like there's a whole bunch of extra plumbing in here. Okay. You see a built-in security system, which is kind of neat. There's like cameras and hollow emitters and stuff. So you can actually take a call from the cockpit anywhere on the ship, like an actual pop-up blue, you know, hi, which is kind of neat. There is an engineering station on the main deck at the back, which can monitor a lot of the, like without running down to the engine room, you can actually monitor a lot of stuff from this station here. Okay. And like I said, you guys are poking around different corners or whatnot. There doesn't appear to be any cargo on board. And like, so there's no supplies. There's no, you know, and if they're smart, there's probably hardly any fuel in the tank so that people wouldn't just, "Oop, bye." You know what I mean? There's no food on board. There's no extra wiring, no nothing. They've probably, the previous owner probably emptied it before they sold it, or, you know, they've negotiated in the price and Buddy's emptied all the car, you know, anything usable. So this ship isn't exactly flight ready. This is why he says, you know, the end of the day, they've got to stock it for you.
There's no galley.
Well, it looks like room
To
9
eat?
is called the refresher.
No, but there is a bunch of storage. The back
Okay.
here,
Weird name for a bathroom.
where you guys can have like, you know, consumables, ready-made foods and stuff.
That's a bathroom.
Yeah,
There's
so
you don't eat
quarters.
there's crew quarters with several bunks, like 3 rooms worth of.
There is a
And-
lounge, which is 10, which is like your common area, I guess.
Yeah, and as soon as you come up the ramp, like it's pretty straightforward. It's almost like an airport lounge, you know, where just
So
like
there's no
seats
galley,
face the
but
door,
that's-
you know, that kind of thing.
A minor thing, but I do know that Merrick likes his sandwiches.
I also
Now,
kicked
this-
several plates.
This centerpiece here, if you look at the top of the ship, okay, this is like the reactor core
Okay.
in the ship here, which you could like, this is your main power system that can takes fuel, powers the entire ship, all auxiliary systems, all main systems, powers your hyperdrive, you know, that kind of thing. And it itself seems to have like a lot of panels that are not sealed. You know what I mean? Like bolted, done, fixed, whatever. A lot of panels that are rigged have been opened so much or they're just missing. Like there's been a lot of in and out in this core. Now nothing looks unstable or weird or warning. It just like there just seems to be a lot of unshielding, modify repairs. Can I have a mechanics check there?
Gladly. I give you the mechanics check by the power of Grayskull. 27.
Yeah, there's a bunch of relays and auxiliary power siphons that take off of the main lines and head buried into wiring that go off somewhere else. And do you know, you ever go into like a water closet or a janitorial closet, whatever, they have all the valve piping and they have those inline valves and you can crank them 45 degrees so that you shut off all your water, you shut off your juice, whatever, that kind of thing. Right? So there's a bunch of these sort of safety offs, but they're running auxiliary stuff that comes off of a line that shouldn't be there. Like someone's put in a bypass.
Yeah.
There's lots of them.
Mm-hmm.
So someone's taking a panel and they're running all kinds of like, ooh, we'll steal some of this power. We'll siphon it off, and it runs to wherever it goes. There's a whole bunch of them. And right now they're all off. Like someone's just gone around and like cranked all of them off. That seems to be the main purpose of like, oh, you know, someone's popped up all the panels, shut off all the valves for safety, and whatever this thing fed, it's just all been shut down.
More finite control of the power distribution.
Yeah, but to where? There's no need for it. Like this is actually like a MacGyver kind of thing. It's good. It's good work. Like someone has professionally come in and replaced fuses.
So there may be more modifications that aren't initially apparent.
Registered?
Yeah, not standard. Aftermarket. Like I've had a water filtration system put in my house, and they came in and they tapped water lines and added a tank and had a bypass, which, bypasses the main water flow into these auxiliary tanks of filtration and then back into the main line. Yep. Right? This is the kind of thing. But from where you're standing in the reactor, you're not sure where this power is going.
Yeah, that take time to follow it and figure it out.
Yeah, it might be shielding for the fuel source would be smart.
Yeah. That
type of thing. So sparks and things
kind of leads me towards.
Could if you're very lucky, could fuel a gun.
Oh.
You haven't checked the turret yet.
Yeah, where are those things?
Go juice first, protection juice
supposed
second.
To be 2, right?
It's not a turret. There's a double laser built into the cockpit, so it's for the pilot gets to shoot itself, and the gun is right on the front.
What's a poor design?
There's been no turret added in this. If you're flying towards something, the co-pilot can shoot at it.
How modifiable is this beast? According
to very not as traditionally modifiable as the Y1300, which makes it more.
The Y1300 is modular.
However, since you failed your checks and don't know its history, just looking around though, this thing would stand apart as far as a smuggler's dream. There's lots of nooks and crannies. There's lots of obviously from your point of view, someone's already played around with a escape pod, and the ship is battle scarred from outside. Like it has seen action, looks like it has been shot at, things have been replaced. Like there's an entire off panel that looks like it was damaged.
What knowledge check would I need to be able to determine if this had been used as a smuggler's ship? Like if it was just that obvious,
Well, I think the evidence of the container where the pod is your evidence.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Everything else has been if you bought a used car where they're taking the door panels off and putting cocaine on it, and then the detailing guy starts cleaning the doors, and he's like, what's this white powder? And starts unscrewing a door and finds traces of drugs no longer there, but traces. He'd be like, oh shit, they would flush the door and get new screws and, or report to the cops, that kind of thing. So now he said he hasn't really detailed it, but it doesn't look like there's any obvious, you guys would have to go over this thing top to bottom for hours. Yeah, you guys are just kind of poking around going, oh, there's a big, big suspicious.
All right, so we'll reconvene.
Do you want to inspect the container?
But we do know that it has.
So we'll reconvene in the lounge and kind of conglomerate what we've noticed about the vessel.
Okay, so you guys are talking for 5 minutes, and then up comes Buddy up the ramp.
So, what do you think?
Well, what I think is I'd like to know the price.
Well,
20%. Anyway, somewhere in the Starfinder book, they have a new and used prices for this thing.
Star Wars Saga Edition, you mean?
Once upon a time, we had it.
New is 98,000, and used is 23.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so give me for a starship. I still think it would be galactic lore. Give me galactic lore, the two of you. Now, you guys can call a friend. You guys have comm systems, so you guys can call your buddies and go, hey, what do you know about this ship?
Well, that's not a bad idea because we are on the same world.
Yeah.
And actually, because I would do that in regards to Leth, for sure, because he's coming in as a potential investor.
Okay. So, but off the top of your heads, knowing what you guys think it's worth, can I have some rolls?
A galactic lore of 7.
Now, if you guys want to 8 another, or you just
got a galactic lore of 13.
Okay, Merrick, you, as far as you can tell, it's like a YT.
I read the spec sheet.
You know what I mean? It should be somewhere in the price range,
which had the new market model on it.
anywhere from 80,000 to 150,000 brand new. You should be able to buy this thing from anywhere from 25,000 to 45,000 used. It's a bit of a margin, but you know what I mean? At least you won't, if he asks for 80 used, you know you're getting ripped off, right? Anyway, so Rahal, you don't know. Merrick, you're unsure. Now we get to our comlink phone call.
Yep, I'll patch into Dr. Leth. So I'll patch through in the comms. Dr. Leth.
Yes,
Can I have a word?
I believe you already are.
Right.
Picture Leth in a boutique and like Zin is coming out of the curtain like, how about this dress? No. How about this camo ghillie suit? No.
Yeah. Can you see me?
Yeah. Comes out with like this seaweed covered ghillie suit, you know, convinced he's invisible because he's underwater.
How does this one make me look? Your ass is still fat.
Yeah, I can still see you. Actually, Leth, you should humor him and say that. I can still see you. Just having your own fun, you just keep sitting him there for hours. You know? I purchased all my product.
I'm not certain. You may want to try the darker green.
Oh, open up the lapel of the ghillie suit and tap on the controls in there that kind of run the electronic countermeasures. Huh. I thought it was working. Damn. Step back in the closet and pull the drape shut.
You see this like neon light show going on underneath the curtain as he's screwing around with the controls.
Whoop, sorry. Let me turn that down.
Personal stimulate activation so you don't get bored and fall asleep in the field, right? It just pumps music and it...
Yes.
No, when combat starts, it plays metal.
As he's changing, I do wonder how long it will take him to realize there's only 4 settings.
I think I found us a vessel that might meet our needs. I'm going to have Merrick shoot you over the specs to your data pad, and I'll just kind of like do the whole like shoulder in his direction, like nudge Merrick. Shoot them specs over to Dr. Leth.
You want me to shoot Leth?
No, just send him the spec sheet.
Okay.
God, you just can't find good help these days.
All right. Set bomb, don't set bomb. Shoot Leth, don't shoot Leth. All the time. It's always do and don't do nothing.
I know where you sleep, and I know where your ticklish spots are.
I will kill you.
Yeah, just
As Merrick comes barreling in, grabs a holograph off of Raul.
Start shaking him.
I will kill you if you ever... I mean, yes, I will give those specs to the doctor. Very good doctor. Good doctor.
Much appreciated. Let's see, what am I looking
Have
at?
a gander at them. Let me know what you think. We're about to start talking price, and I don't want to get into anything too heavy without your acquiescence.
Well... And he begins thinking, what particular type of thinking would you like?
You're the doctor here. I ain't no scientist. I ain't no mechanic. Is there anything you see on this that raises a red flag? Do you think it'll suit the purposes that you got in mind for it?
So he sends you the specs on a basic Katrok 720. It's a lesser popular freighter than the 1300 series. It is a stable ship. It is a popular ship in the Outer Rim. You know this. But as far as making sense of like the mechanical side of it, do you have mechanics?
Of course.
Or do you want to just go off of galactic lore? Okay, go ahead.
27.
If you ask him how old the ship is, the registry date, and basically just a rundown looking at this, you should put the value at, you said it earlier.
Yep, getting that.
Used.
Considering the age of the ship, presumably the usage, I would put this at around 23,000 credits.
Now, you got to bear in mind, Doctor, there's some evidence of some aftermarket work done to this thing. Oh, it's all there? Okay.
No, they're in the specs. So it's
okay.
Some of the appendages or whatever, you know.
All right.
Right, so you're saying it's worth just over 23,000 credits used.
All right, Doctor. Appreciate your opinion. I trust you'll leave the negotiations to me.
Do I know anything about this particular type of ship? Would that be, specifically, that would be the galactic lore?
Yeah, go ahead.
21.
He's so still, it's like he froze. I know, but you were just so still.
I'm reading. It's like I'm reading up on the accuser going, what if I screw myself by like time stamping it again? You know, I was like, the guy wasn't born in this year. Keep forgetting that we're like 3 months after Order 66. I was like, Rebel Fusion Imperial Authorities. Yeah, this sounds like later, like, you know, right now, Luke is a baby, and the stuff they give on the wiki sounds like, you know, Luke is a teen or older, so probably can't go with any of this stuff. Anyway, what would you know about it? Popular in the Outer Rim. And let's say that Gathok Industries haven't, you know, gone up yet. They're still making them. I'm thinking they go to business because of the Empire spreading out later.
Good truck.
It's kind of like the Alderaan pension joke. Sturdy ship, they'll be making them forever. I'm sure of it. Yeah. All signs point to yes.
Well, it does certainly. If I remember correctly, that is run by, those ships are created by Jitrok. Should be a newer company, a newer upper-coming company. It should be fine.
All right, Doctor. Thanks for the input. I'll get back to you if anything else arises.
Well, do your best to keep the price as low as you can.
Of course. What do you think, I'm new to this?
Well, there are many other things we need besides a ship.
And signs off.
There are many things. Oh, click. Right, God damn that guy. Always gotta get the last word. All right, so where was we? You was gonna give me a price.
Right. So I talked to my man, and he says there's extensive modification in the power resurgence and the extra fuel tanks, making long jumps. This is definitely optimization of the freighter class. You understand, gentlemen, that this beautiful piece of work tapping the reactor core, previous owner really knew what he was doing, because, you know, the long haul is where the money is. You understand? And he can go in the outer territories and even the unknown reaches, I understand. He's seen some interest in this particular vessel, and the Archelon is a prime example of someone that explored the unknown reaches, came back alive, proving its worth. I think that 45,000 credits is a fair price.
But these...
45,000 credits.
Well, I would have liked to have seen these modifications put inside the hull and not run outside of it.
Well, my man here brings up a good point. I don't think these modifications are quite the spec like you're saying they are. What do you say, 30,000 credits?
30,000 credits. Maybe if I had time to remove the auxiliary tank and, strip some of this.
Hey, not to mention, it's missing one of its escape pods. And I'll see if I can sway him with a bit of, Rahal smoothness. Throw a persuasion on there.
A little pinch on the tushy.
That's exactly it. Natural 20 for a persuasion of 34.
Refuel, there's a certain escape pod and about 5,000 credits or more, so I'd say, okay, I'd be willing to come down to 40,000 credits.
40,000 credits. 35, and you fuel it up.
38, and I'll resupply it.
Give me a moment. And I'll tap back into the comms.
And only enough fuel to leave the system, you understand? And these maze tanks can carry like thousands of credits worth of fuel, you understand? Adding to the price. Yeah.
You give you a moderate amount of fuel so you can get up and get going and get out of the system and, get somewhere. But he's not filling the tank completely.
Okay. No, I'll bear that in mind. So I'll patch into the comms.
It's like, fill my 18-wheeler. And it's a tanker truck. Fill the back, too. No, I don't think so.
So I'll pipe into over the comms to Dr. Leth. Dr. Leth, sorry to bother you again. How much of a stake was you willing to put into this investment again?
Why is that a necessary question?
Well, it's stretching a bit beyond my own personal means, and you did mention your interest in,
How much is he asking?
I think we're gonna reach a deal at,
He leans over and just talks directly to the hologram. 38,000 credits. Firm.
Now bear in mind he's gonna supply us and give us enough fuel to get to our first destination.
Well, out of the system at least.
Bear in mind the 23,000 that I said earlier was for a fully stocked ship. Without modifications, granted. Looking over quickly examining the specs of these modifications. The ship, the actual price of buying these types of modifications shouldn't raise the price more than 5,000 to 10,000 credits.
Which would put you around the 33 mark.
Indeed. It would put us about the 33,000 mark at the upper limit. And that is fully stocked.
All right. Well, again, aside from that point, how much of an investment are you willing to make on this?
His last offer to him was 35, by the way. Uh-oh.
I can... I suppose with some...
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how much money these guys have. They never told. Like, I can verify it before they just go, oh, yeah, we have 50,000 credits. No. But I know the players were talking about pooling their credits or whatever. I wanted to go into this unbiased, not knowing how much money the players had on hand. So...
Well...
How much do you have? Now we know.
Considering...
How much you got?
I have 36,000 credits myself. Just over.
Considering my most recent scholarship grant came in, I am willing to contribute 10 to 15,000 credits if necessary.
Perfect. That's all I needed to know. I'll finalize things and let you know when I'm ready for you guys to come on board so we can make our leave. And then I'll switch off the communication, turn back to the guy. My investor, he's got a better head for these things. He's looked over the specs. He says fully stocked, even with the modifications you mentioned. This ship isn't worth more than 35. Now, I understand you got to make a little scratch in this game. So I'll do 36 even. You know, considering you haven't had this on hand and haven't had time to do all the detailing... Seems like a pretty sweet deal. Easy 1,000 creds for you.
Well, considering my fishy face never has a smile, I'm awesome at poker. I'd say you drive a hard bargain, but you have yourself a deal. 36,000, end of the week.
Shake his hand. I can wire the funds to you immediately. How long will it take you to supply this thing?
I just said end of the week.
Oh, it's got to be faster than that. Come on, I told you I was in a hurry.
Time is money, I suppose. 36,000, 3 days.
I can assist in these.
3 days?
So-called.
Now, how does that align with the itinerary we have? Mr. Pilot of the Resurgence? How much time were we granted for our little leave mission?
It's cutting it close.
You have to understand, though, with the Imperial occupation imminent and new regulations on the Imperial class Star Destroyers overhead, just the transfer into the underwater, the transportation to the surface is going to cost at least 2,500 credits, as well as,
Blah, blah, blah. Oh, sorry. I forgot about... Never mind. It's not my problem. I sold you the ship. You have to get it to the surface.
Imperial tax on sales of any space-going vessel is at least 5,000 credits. I'm taking a loss here for you,
going on a whole bunch of... Anyway, he starts going on about Imperial restrictions and new laws and bylaws, tying his hands. And it's not a matter of money. He's agreed to the price. It's a matter of time. It takes me time to get these documents and finalize the paperwork. Yep. And, now,
all right.
No, I suppose certain shortcuts could be taken if you're willing to overlook some of the standard regulation and safety. mean, are you coming back to Aquarius? Do you have insurance? So that I may not be blamed if you...
Ranks in bureaucracy?
Well, I'm not going to lie. My hopes in my dealings with you are going to end after this transaction, my good sir.
All right. Well, I could get up duty by the end of the day if you're willing to overlook certain, standard practices. Anyway, basically, he's going to do less work and speed paperwork along. But if you're happy that the ship's on the up and up, who cares, right? What could possibly go wrong?
That's right. Yeah. I'll reach out and shake a flipper.
Awesome. Done deal.
Sounds like you got yourself a deal, my
All
good
right.
man.
You come away with a wet, slimy data pad that he presses into your hand. Transfer the funds immediately, if you please. I'll have my guy right on it.
So I'll punch it up, and I will transfer the funds directly from my account. 36,000 credits.
So he turns to like the big browser guy and goes, "Rock!" Buddy comes over and complains.
Don't take that home with me. Just leave it be. It's not done to the end of the week. Then rush over here, paying customers. Just do it. Can't get good help these days.
I know, right?
Rock walks by Merrick and they pause and regard each other with a knowing, sad look.
It's a solemn nod.
Can't get good employers these days.
Right then. We will be back at the end of the day to collect.
Okay.
Transfer the deeds into my name, please, good sir. And I'll give him, my information for the deed and all that fun stuff.
Sit back in my office and we'll make sure that it's a wrap.
It's a wrap!
That's good. It's good.
A bit forced, but still works into the conversation.
Oh, and that's even a pun in its own.
Oh,
Yeah.
A bit forced.
Well, hey, I'm not involved in this storyline.
Oh, come on.
Oh, that was intentional. I'm just waiting for you guys. Like, no one's getting these but Matt tonight. You guys all tired? Okay. So, hang on. The camera pulls out, okay, and shoots to the other side of Aquarius and descends upon a dark alley. The distinct sense you're being followed. Turning down an alley, you sense something strange. Mava, use a force check to determine how strange.
Yes, you can. Use a force check of 16.
The cave on Dagobah, the dark side is evil in that place, all that kind of crap. And then there's temples and things where the light side prevails. You sense a source of the force. And it's weird because it literally has a barrier. Like, a couple steps out of the alley, nothing. But, that sense that you're in danger or someone's following you. You step into this alley and you suddenly become aware. Like, you step through a barrier wall and there's a rich, strong sense of the force ahead of you. Neither good nor evil. Just there. Just old and strong. And cut off immediately, worse than a bad cell phone range. But there it is. What do you do?
Well, I will follow this.
Winding back alleys and almost circling back to the point where you started, you realize that you're sort of circumventing it and it is below you.
Interesting. I will find. Is there any sewer entrances or manholes?
You can search. You can search for some. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll take a look.
Okay.
See if I can find a manhole cover or something.
Okay. Wandering around the alleys a little bit more, you do find something that passes for what you believe is a service tunnel.
All right. I'll pop that open. Carefully strap the guitar case to my back as I was carrying it in my hand, and then climb down, moving the cover back over me.
The camera pulls back just as the cover ellipses Poser's head, and a cloaked figure pauses around the corner of an alley, as if waiting or listening. The scene flips over, and now we see Poser getting to the bottom of the manhole ladder, the rungs riveted steel into a slick stone wall. The stone itself is not man-made. It seems almost coral-like the hard rock of a reef, or the hard rock that coral reef would attach itself to. But certainly not man-made, like stone mortared, to make a round tunnel. They've just carved natural stone into a vague round or, slushy shape and stuck posts in it. And now you are in what, would be an alien looking, but still a sewer is a sewer. The air down here is beyond moist and reeks of like rotting kelp and seaweed, and it's overpowering. But still, there is now a definite direction of the tunnel ahead of you for the source, as opposed to you going around circles and being below you.
All right. Then I shall follow the tunnels. Obviously being mindful of my surroundings, but...
Reaching out with your senses, can I have another use of force check so that you do not become lost? It's not like the source is calling to you or guiding you. You must reach out to grab a hold of it and follow it, to track it down to its stronger, ever-growing stronger source.
Natural 1 for a 9.
Okay, wander. The does not seem to get any stronger, and you find yourself at riveted ladder leading up to a manhole. Possibly an adjacent street, or you might have gone in a big circle and ended up back where you started.
Well, I'm going to go for it again.
Okay.
9 for a 17 total.
Okay. This time, you try something different. You start down, and you realize logically there's only so many tunnels and twists and turns, and you will end up back here, but you turn around like a 180. Acoustic sounds, yelling down a tunnel, yelling in a cave, always go in the opposite direction to follow the source. It occurs to you that this sense of the force isn't necessarily traveling through solid rock. It actually might be bouncing off of walls. Perhaps something in the living material of the rock itself actually channels it. This would explain why you couldn't sense it through the ground before until you were like dead close, and why it might be having you all turned around. Just like an acoustic source. Doing a 180, going the wrong way. No, you don't go like in a big circle around and track back to the first point. You actually, halfway around, notice something like a fissure in the rock that you kind of passed by before. It's as if the wall breaks away at an angle, and in walking one way, there's that illusion of the wall with the wall. And then unless you actually walk up to it, you don't see the division.
Yeah, I got you.
A natural fissure, like a crack in the wall. Debris, slime has sort of collected at the edge of it, making a gross pile, which just looks like any other deposit that might be randomly in the sewer, but also aiding its camouflage. Meanwhile, back on the surface, once again, a curtain slides over.
Draw the curtain back. My camo suit's like scintillating between hot pink and slime green. Yeah? It's like a jellyfish.
It's quite glorious. Now, can we return to looking for what we were actually trying to find?
Oh, I think I've got it. This is it. They'll never see me coming.
Oh, lovely.
That's great.
Would you take a sniper wearing this seriously? No, nobody would. I gotcha.
I don't know that I would consider you a sniper, but fair point.
He might be able to get a job as a showgirl in an off Galactic Broadway show, but yeah. All right.
You know the outer rim? Yes.
I mean,
further.
Actually, that does bring up an interesting idea.
And his sewer just suddenly reminded me of what Frank was doing in his, kelpie suit. Homing in.
What? Idea?
I do actually wonder, with the two of us, would you be interested in heading to a tavern
Not
after this with me? Would you be interested in heading and visiting one of the local cantinas with me? There is something I would like to find, something I would like to check.
Kind of licks his lips. Cantina. I'm fucking dressed for the cantina. Let's go.
I had hoped you would say something similar. Please just...
How much money have you got on there? Have you got on there,
like
Frank?
3,500.
Okay. They want 7,000 for this suit. Lett's going to have to spot you some money. But in an aquatic environment of the many aquatic planets, dude, I guarantee you a huge bonus to confuse the crap out of any aquatic species. Guaranteed. Just keep lit up.
Looks down at the suit, looks at the price tag, checks his credit stick. Spot me?
No.
Claps Leth on the shoulder and goes, "Good." Runs out the door, leaving him.
Oh no. Security.
He's got...
So down the street I go.
A huge crustacean watches him run out and then looks back
They'll
to
never
left and
see me.
moves to block the door, folding its huge spiky arms, and just looks at you, Leth, and says,
He's all yours.
implying you guys came in together and one of you have to pay and you're still here.
Implying that if you would prefer, we can get some of the Imperials. That might help. If you would prefer, we can get one of the Imperials, if that would help. But honestly...
Sure. They claim the two of you came in, shopped together, one ran, we detained this one. You are placed under arrest.
Honestly, what...
The Imperials will arrest you, dude.
What exactly for you implied that I was a friend with him?
They watched you on camera, like
They
standing
watched me
from the
be
curtain and
severely
give him-
annoyed by him? Yes, they did.
No, you entered the store together. You shopped together. The Imperials are taking you off to the detention center. They don't question you. They just take the shop owner's word for it. Okay, getting back to the sewer.
Prison Break Part 2.
Yeah. Maybe it's a race thing there, Snowflake. But the poser,
Yes.
crack in the wall.
Yes, there is a crack in the wall.
You're looking at this debris, clearing it away. You don't know why you're thinking of Old Man's Inn all of a sudden. It just does.
Okay. Interesting. Strange visions I'm having. Anyway, back to the matter at hand. Well, let's continue clearing this.
You feel Sin is in danger, fleeing for his life, and has never been happier in it.
But yeah, so I cleaved the debris in front of the fissure, and am I able to fit inside of it? Like squeeze through, or what's going on? All right.
Yeah. I mean, Leth could argue we could retcon that, and because actually Zin had the suit lit up, the crustacean guy didn't even see him leave.
I like that argument.
Sorry, I was trying to click on bureaucracy knowledge. I was looking for laws of this particular planet.
About that time, the intercom.
You-
Well, where are we?
You had a case until you specifically asked for the Imperials, who just would show up and arrest you, no questions. Anyway,
Frank's just running through the station. Start the car! Start
people
the
keep
car!
walking into them because you can't see them. All these fish people could keep jostling
Well, I
them. You
didn't.
can't
I asked for the Imperials. I didn't wait for the Imperials to show up, then start pleading my case.
That's what I'm saying. Well, Imperials, sure.
Right now-
Anyway, it's a sidebar.
Right now,
Let it
Zin's
be.
the Invisible Man.
Poser. Wiggling, crawling on your hands and knees and getting covered in smelly sludge. 15, 20 feet, an eternity of hands and knees crawling, and eventually into a cave which is lit from the underside with dozens and dozens of pools, all different shapes and sizes, all separated by a thin sort of stone division. You know those pools in China where they're all like kidney shaped and they all interlock? They're all random shapes and random sizes.
Yeah, I got you.
It's like cutting a human brain in half. Yeah. Anyway, the cave, which has a relatively low ceiling, goes back like 60 odd feet, and this whole place is like 200 feet wide, about 60 odd feet deep, and just the entire, you can go around the entire circumference to a certain point like 20 feet on the side, but to get to the back, you would have to like balance and step amongst these pools. And there's sort of, you don't see a light, but it's as if the pools were like, you ever turn the lights off in a swimming pool, you have that wavy, watery glow that's going on the ceiling and stuff in an aquarium kind of thing. That effect is lighting up the ceiling, so your eyes adjust, and you do have that. I can kind of see the terrain, and you feel completely immersed in a strong sense of the force itself emanating from the pools and the back of the room. What do you do?
I will proceed to slowly weave my way in between the pools along the thin stone path towards the back of the cave.
Okay. About a quarter of the way, you believe you hear a voice. A familiar voice. Friends. Maybe you're just recalling a calm phone call because you just kind of get snippets of what sounds like interference of Rahal talking to Leth, talking about numbers and credits. Maybe a conversation that you've actually heard on the ship when we were talking about buying a ship and coming down here and getting it. And you all wandered off. You proceed to halfway point, and a light catches your notice at the corner of your eye. You turn your head to one side, and you actually see a pool shining somewhat a little bit more brightly than the others. And you distinctly hear Rahal say that he can't get good help these days.
You just can't get good help these days.
It sounds tinny and far away, but it sounds like it's faint and emanating from the pool. And then
You just can't get good help these days.
And then another pool lights up. And you hear Dr. Leth proclaiming that the child's body has been dead for several weeks. Another pool lights up. And you hear a very exalted sound of Merrick embracing the Felucian war vet when he brought out a big bag of explosives. Another pool lights up, and you hear the distinct sound of rumbling of mortar and plasteel mortar crumbling under an explosion that Merrick set at the jail. And every time a pool lights up and makes a sound, two more join it, and they dot the rooms, and they're everywhere. And suddenly you find yourself surrounded by pools, lightly glowing, giving off audio of your recent past. It becomes discordant and like a buzzing in your mind, and becomes almost painful, annoying as hell. What do you do?
I guess I will. So I'm still only about the halfway point to the back of the cave.
Mm-hmm.
I'll continue pressing on until if it gets to the point where like I can't focus on my movements properly.
Okay. 3/4 of the way back there, you hear other voices, other memories, things that you don't want to remember. Your training, your master, Padawan friends, Jedi temples, painful memories, little audio snips bombarding you. One such pool, your master's voice, a lesson. Does anyone remember the accent I gave his master?
Not at all.
I don't think I did
I
one.
don't think so.
Okay.
No, I don't think you
I don't
did
think
either.
we ever had the
Okay.
master talking, from what I remember.
Pick
Yeah.
I don't remember hearing
pick
the
an
master at
pick an
all.
accent, guys. Anything? Anyone?
Irish?
Sorry?
Irish.
No, don't go Irish. Go Asian. Full on Asian.
Okay.
It sounds mildly racist.
Yeah.
I will.
No.
be
Thank you
offended,
very much.
maybe.
I'm sorry, but Asian is the correct term.
I mean, Jeff, we could get, we could
Okay,
go with
thank you very much.
racist
You
with-
must,
the redneck.
Racist
you must
would
rub
be-
the crystal
There's another word
wax
you
on.
could
Going
use to make it
Indian
racist.
wax.
I didn't.
See, this is the bombardment of sound. This is exactly. Thank you guys for the audio sample. This is exactly what's coming at you. There's all
Wonderful.
kinds of, wonderful. Quiet your mind, young Padawan. Listen with your mind, not your ears. There can be only one, McGregor.
You've got to open your mind.
You've got to open your mind to the Force. Don't listen with your ears. Listen with your presence of self. The Force, if you want to identify it, it's an intangible thing. But it can gravitate to something you identify with. So if you want to listen to the Force as opposed to see it or feel it, then listen, but not with your ears. Remembering the heart of the lesson, the key point was calming your mind.
And at that point, swing the guitar over the front of myself, sit down on this narrow beam, and start playing, strumming slowly.
As you play, some of the components in your guitar, your special modifications that amplify it, resonate, reverb, and begin causing certain ripples in the pools around you. You play through a song, certain chords heighten that ripple, resonate stronger, to come upon a single awesome power chord. And right through the steel of your vibroblade, the crystal, known as a kyber crystal, glows so brightly you can not only feel it, but practically see it right through the metal. And the pools change to the same dark, neon, blacklight purplish as your master's former lightsaber crystal that is now housed in your Vibro Axe guitar. And when the chord fades, all the reflective surfaces on the ceiling stop, fade out, the ripples flatten, and the entire cave falls into a black, beyond inky black darkness. Silence. And then you feel a sound more than hear it. You can feel it on the edges of the pool that support your weight. A rumbling, a vibration, but it's alive. It's thrumming, not like a heartbeat, but like a breathing. Steady, high pitch, low pitch. High pitch, low pitch. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And in your mind's eye, you feel a presence, sensing you as you sense it. It becomes aware of you as you become aware of it, and it wakens.